Great win, team win. Team win being the players in our locker room, the coaches, but also our fans and everyone that was here tonight. You know, we were out there earlier today in the food court, giving out coffee to everybody, talking about the game. We could tell it's going to be a live atmosphere. But I really think it's cool what we got going on here because those fans are such a part of what we do, and they support this program so much. And I really believe that everyone feels when we win, we all win together. But also, like our players were so elated to be able to be out there today, hanging out with those students, giving them coffee, hanging out, talking about the big game. It's got a feeling of high school to it. You know, like, and you know, people say what it is. I'm a high school coach. Like, I say that proudly, I'm a high school coach, right? I mean, some of the most pure times of people's lives. And, you know, when it's that feeling and it's just you, your classmates going to the big game tonight, that's some of the best memories people have in their life. And that doesn't happen if you got a bunch of guys on your team that no one likes, or they're these superstars. That's just pro athletes, right? But, you know, when our players are arm in arm today and with the students and vice versa before the game at 11 o'clock, 11 a.m., then after the game, it's a special thing. So I'm just really happy for our school. You know, I think people have said it. We got incredible academics, but it is hard to fit 4,000 people into a math class to observe it. All the great things that happen is hard. But here, you can have everybody fighting together, pulling together for the same cause, and it's unique. You got to give UNCG a lot of credit. That's their top 30 defense in the country. They play like it. We were able to kind of get loose in the last 10 minutes. Well, I think we scored 57 points the second half. I'd be interested to see what it was the last 10 minutes, how many of those came in the last 10 minutes. At the end of the day, I told our guys, look, you know, this is not really a game. I can help you out. I can sub, right? We may change defenses every now and then, but I can't wait tonight just to watch y'all hoop. Like, we have a bunch of veterans. I don't have to hold their hand. And it was just so fun to watch that, to see Quez, that matchup, to see Bubba Parham. You know, Logan's been hurt, to see a chore come in for him, Jermaine Marshall. You know, you go through all those players. And AJ in here, and you got to see them play. You got to see their matchup, but you really got to see their personalities and their heart in that game, right? I told them more than anything else, it's going to be about your heart, right? And that was really cool to see. The last 10 minutes of the game, it couldn't have gone much better, last 10, 12 minutes. We just went to our defense. Basically, in offense, it's a call. I'm not going to give it away here, but it's a certain call that we go to where it's just like, if you feel like you can attack on defense, it's up to you. Go. Like, a lot of things we do is controlled on me. But this was, look, we're in a timeout. If you think you can go attack on defense, go. On offense, if you can attack, go. Y'all just play, right? And I really felt it loosened our players up. So, you know, some games, I'll be real, I think our staff does a good job. That game was won by those players, of our players, and their heart, you know, and we just needed to take the gloves off for them there in the last 10 minutes. And just whatever happened, happened. And it was a slugfest, but that was just a great one to watch. We could run into those guys again. If you like basketball and you like physicality and you like heart, whenever you play those guys, they're so well coached and so tough, it's always going to be that game. So I know it's long-winded, man, but that's how I felt, and I really feel happy for our school.
What does it say? You kind of touched on it a little bit, but what does it say about those last 10 minutes? 10 minutes, everybody contributed. It wasn't like one guy got hot or one guy made a bunch of defensive plays. It was, top to bottom type thing.
Yeah.
What does that say about you guys, you think?
Well, you know, the quote, the harder you work, the harder it is to surrender, right? Like, that's a quote that's always stuck with me. I've told that to our team. Like, our guys have put in so much work. Like, they blood each other up in practice, and I will say this, we could probably win some games in the non-conference if we practice different. We'll play guys that probably aren't ready to play yet, We'll practice long hours in some of those non-conference games before a game, and it's probably cost us a couple games this year. But without that, without playing some of those players, without playing a chore in some of those games, without practice hard as we did where they got those reps in the non-conference, we wouldn't have been ready to win that game. And so I would trade in any non-conference game for a conference win. And there's been several this year that we've won because of that. And I really thought it was so cool. You saw all those guys rallying together, and you saw them so happy for a chore in that game. And you just saw those guys just tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter like some soldiers. And whether you know basketball, you don't know basketball, you like sports, you don't like, you recognize that, right? You recognize warriors, and you recognize a team that's together. And Yeah, that's what you saw, man. And it goes from that hard work in practice. If you're just showing up to practice and singing "Kumbaya" and stuff, you don't have that, right? You don't have that. But when you work so hard, you're not going to allow yourself to quit.
Against a team like that, I mean, you're down 12 with 11 and a half left, and you outscore them by 24 down the stretch. How much is that magnified because of how hard they work?
Right.
They're not a team that is going to roll over easily,
right,
or break easily.
Yeah.
But that's essentially what you did to them.
That 12 felt like 25, didn't it? Because they're a top 30 defense in the country. And so you're down 12, it feels like it's 25, right? And so we needed more possessions in that game, right? We couldn't it had to be when they were locked into their defense, it was hard to score. But I do feel like anytime you can make a run and score that many points to close the game, you did something right. You played hard, you probably were well conditioned for the game, but you made plays. Like, let's call it what it is. I mean, Quez Glover, man, how great was that? Just put him on an island and pop up, bam, three. And he's just getting back. Like, people forgot, like we played so much. Start the season 6-1. He goes down. Cooper Capus goes down with him and Cooper, our two starting guards, go down within 24 hours of each other. Jaden Campbell, who started in the conference tournament last year, goes down like 2 games later. So Quez is just he's been back for a little bit, but he's just getting that feel back. But, one thing about Quez is in those moments, like there's guys that want to take the shot, right? Quez loves that stage. Like he wants that. And so, you saw great playmaking there. Bubba Parham, we don't talk about Bubba enough, right? I mean, you got to see it from his three-point shooting tonight, like his defense all the time. Like this was a guy that scored 22 points a game in our league as a sophomore. Goes to Georgia Tech, right? Wins the league at Georgia Tech as a starter. Comes here, and he could score 20 points, but he scores 10 because that's what it's going to take for our team to win. And that's why we win. It's guys like him, that he could do that. Like, Quez could score 30. Jermaine could score more. But, when you see that and they're all willing to sacrifice, it equates to winning. Today, this day and age, that doesn't happen all the time on every team, right? But Bubba Parham, it was good to see him do that because he always makes the right play for the team. And tonight, when he saw that we were down, he saw he needed to make some plays offensively. That was good to see.
With Logan, is he just banged up, or what's going on?
Yeah, so he's got a knee injury. So he they saw the doctor with it today, and they injected in his knee to help loosen it up a little bit. But it's he's been battling here for a little bit. It's not a tear, it's nothing like that. It's just this something on the outside of his knee that it's massive tendonitis. But hopefully he can get it. He will get it back together. But he was struggling all day. I mean we knew he'd play because he's Logan, but I know other players that wouldn't have played tonight. But he went out there and did as good as he could do. But you could tell it was affecting him.
How do you feel about your position now? You're a game ahead, 3 games left, 2 of them on the road. And you got Furman obviously to close it out here.
Yeah, I mean I was looking at it. I think it was kind of you got to take care of business on the road. We certainly got to win at least one of the next 2 games. But I think at the end of the day, obviously you play to win every game. You're going to have to get at least one of these on the road, and you're going to have to beat Furman at home. I mean, that's what it comes down to. But at the end of the day, if you had told me 3 years ago, when we won 2 conference games, my first year in the middle of COVID, right? And Samford had never finished higher than, I believe, 7th. They never had a first-round bye in the SoCon, right? That we'd be sitting here talking about if we can win one of these next 2 games, playing for the regular season conference championship against Furman, which that place is going to be sold out. Sign me up, right? That's how you want it. That's how you want it.